Thank you, ma'am. We are privileged and honored to have a stellar panel for today, and my main role is to perhaps not come too much in the way. I have a few questions, and I would request the panelists just before you take on the first question, maybe to introduce yourselves a little bit. I'll move in a biased way from my left down to Priyank ji at the end. So my first question is for Mr. Navi, who's here. And I think as a lawyer, as a veteran of a few decades with experience in technology and privacy law, he is best placed to answer an opening question on what personal data means for this sector, for the non-digital sector, and what are his thoughts on the provisions in the data protection law in relation to the non-digital sector.
Thank you, Rodney. As all of you know, DPDPI does not distinguish between digital companies and non-digital companies, manufacturing companies. So the same law applies to all, which means that personal data has to be identified and subject to the requirements of the Act, which has got both the consent requirement as well as the legitimate use basis. The non-digital companies also need to be fully compliant. If you add even health sector in the non-digital category, they are persons who are going to have massive data of sensitive nature. So I think it is a more a significant data fiduciary than any other ordinary digital companies. There can be companies who have millions of data but non-sensitive, whereas hospitals, in one department they will have a DNA related data, health related data, so highly sensitive. So they will all have to be considered as significant data fiduciaries. In between come these pharmacies and something like that who are in the healthcare sector but not as big as even a hospital. So, but still law is same for them. So all these companies will have to face the same issues. But if you take manufacturing companies per se, we are normally trying to tell them that you have got employees, one category, you have got your marketing department may have certain customer these things. Normally, they will not have too much of customers, and most of the customers they have are business customers. So I can always classify them as whatever email address I collect as a business contact address, because the very purpose for which they give their email address or phone number to me is to do business, not for anything else. As long as I can ensure that I am going to use it only for business purposes, then I am reasonably considering them as business contact address. In fact, you must have observed that most of the companies today in their form will not simply say email address, business email kind of a thing. The reason is to escape the classification. If there are retail sales, if a manufacturing company has put up a e-commerce website and if they want to do retail sales, then automatically whoever visits their website and whoever actually places a request for an order, they are going to get some personal data. So non-digital companies have to look at their website, their e-commerce activities, retail customer facing activities, and then see the sensitivity of the information. Based on that, DPDPA will be fully applicable to them. Yeah.
Thank you so much. My next question to Kapil ji. Which, in your opinion, which non-digital industries would face the maximum or the highest compliance, and why? And how do you think this will play out in broader sectors which are diverse, like education, healthcare, and particularly rural development as well?
Yes. Actually, here the healthcare will be the most, because they are into very different places in India, the geolocations, and they have more sensitive data with them. So at the moment, like if you see that the small pharmacy, like now we said, the small pharmacies, small hospitals, but they have very large amount of data which is directly collected from the resources and very sensitive in nature. So healthcare is the most means affected to this, and they have to their responsibility also there. Now the point is that mainly if you see the law, the DPDP is only for the digital information or the digitized information. So we have to see it is not going to be, it is going to be a difficult process for anyway, because the reason behind till today they are not looking their data in that manner. They are collecting anything and everything from everyone, right, whatever is coming. But we have to see privacy or the law as an enabler to their business or enabler to any industry in place of taking it as a hurdle or a problem to them. As soon as we are saying that, okay, we are privacy first company, we know we are keeping your data safe, your customer is going to more trust on you. So the point is that if we want to utilize it as a beneficial services for us, as a beneficial point, right? Or we want to see it hurdle, okay, we are going to have now compliance requirement, why this new thing has come on our head. So the point is how we are looking it. So industry has to look it into a positive way. This is coming to benefit them. The point is that you have to, maybe you are not able to do everything. It will take time, right? Law is coming today. Slowly and gradually it is growing, and industry will start learning from it. It is the responsibility of the professionals like us. We have to educate the industry that yes, this is going to help us. And we are there to tell you that, okay, how to manage these compliance. The data have to kept, the data which is in physical form, as soon as it is getting digitalized, and not today, then within 2 years or 3 years, every industry is going to be digitized. The things are already started coming to it, so data is going to be digitalized. Now, even they have the industries which already don't have the data, digital data, they have this opportunity from the start that the applications they are choosing, the tools they are choosing, they can choose the tools and products which are privacy efficient, right? So even it is easy for them, even the companies who already have the legacy data, and they have to transform into the that means privacy enabled data. Thank you.
Thank you so much. My next question to Ravinder ji. In your experience in the industry, what are the biggest roadblocks for businesses, digital and non-digital, in implementing the DPDP Act? And how can organizations build awareness and capabilities to ensure compliance?
PR was making buzz, and we all were discussing about in 2018, and so because we have office, the organization I represent, we have office in Poland, we have office in London, and we all were struggling with what this GDPR is all about, and keeping PII of European citizen and EU suddenly, and there was a huge penalty, which is 4% of global turnover and 20 million dollar and all that. But I think important thing, and definitely we have seen that phase, and we got prepared, we got compliant, and it's been close to 6 years now. Now DPDP, I think, which is making more buzz. All I think next webinar conferences I can see, especially when this draft rules came in picture last week. I think the most important part, if you will talk about the challenge, definitely it will be a challenge for the organization, though those who privacy will be a new thing for them. Some organization which has a global presence already have to, my organization, we are already compliant with CCPA because we have an office in Los Gatos, California. So we know, how we have a privacy framework, then we have, our office, then, basically PDP in Singapore, because we have office in Singapore. So we already got prepared. Now it will comes to the organization, those, they have to start their privacy journey, from zero. I think it will be a big challenge. And I will be very blunt. I mean, I am not going to, making something, but in India, our ecosystem where every panwala is storing Aadhaar card, first, and, even we are not aware why we are sharing with them. Anybody asks for any PI information and we simply say, yeah, please, I really don't want, the work should be fast and everything. It is going to be a big challenge. Organizations, those who will start it, definitely going to a big challenge. And I think awareness is actually, one thing that, organization has to work from start. For example, sir is, more, know the deep diving of this new act. I can, tell from GDPR and all that, the right of, data deletion, I think the most important right of forgotten. I'm sure this is all part of, this new act as well. How well organization is going to take care of that. And, most important, I will not take the name. I was just, trying to search something on Google 2 days back, some travel website I was looking for. It was an Indian travel website, those who do Indian packages. It was accepting all type of PII, no cookie information, no information how they are going to store my information, how cookies will be deleted. There was no consent was getting taken, You can understand. I'm sure it will be a big challenge, but let's see. I think that's the role, sir, and, these people are going to help us, all I can say. And, I think we need more consultants for the organization. I can definitely say that. Being a CISO, I get a limited budget. I'm also playing the role of data privacy head as well. I'm the DPO as well. There's the additional responsibility. I don't have a 15-man team for the privacy. It's very difficult to present the ROI to the board. Try to understand. There was one challenge when CISO is presenting ROI for the security task. Now they have to come and present board, hey, there is a new act in India. I need more resources. I need more tools. It's not at all easy to get that budget. I think we need more experts to help us.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you. That was really interesting. For Priyank ji, a question which is seemingly on the face of it straightforward, but a bit of a googly as well. Cultural resistance. In India, in Asia, through his experience, how do you address cultural and organizational resistance to embracing privacy-focused laws as a whole?
Yeah, absolutely great. And if I have to talk about cultural resistance, I think this culture includes both organizations as well as individual. There is some level of understanding, there is some level of awareness which is needed from both sides. One of the things that I usually say that the problem is not with the organizations but with the individuals as well. It's us also. We've been giving our data like candies, I always say, to organizations. And organizations have been chewing it like a chewing gum. They don't want to give data back to the people. There have been questions on the dark data. There have been questions on the invisible processing. Any privacy, any legislation when it comes brings its own set of challenges. The GST brought the challenges, and I think the laws that I have not even seen might have brought their own set of challenges. So DPDP is also bringing its challenges. Organization, and I said the data security aspect of the data protection has been fairly mature here. There's a lot of awareness. CISO is a very well-known term in all of the organizations. But when we talk about privacy, it's a new term, like it said now. CISO challenge for the DPOs right now, on the CISOs right now, is they are wearing multiple hats and board is expecting them to pull rabbit out of every hat. So that's the challenge they have. So from starting of the culture, I think there is a little bit of onus and responsibility that comes on data fiduciary, how they are processing data, they have those relevant mechanism or not. The sense or the urgency or an acknowledgement or cognizance of the fact, every organization is thinking, this is organizational compliance. I have to save 250 crores. I have to give this report to my investors. I have to ensure my stocks does not tank down because this is 250 crore organizational compliance. I think what we have forgotten is this law is for people. It's for you, it's for me. If an organization, by its process mechanism, cannot develop a culture where they start thinking about data fiduciary principles interest, then there's no point on doing whatever state-of-the-art technology you're implementing in your organization. I am a simple data Indian citizen data principal. I need to know why my data is being used. I need to know, am I really the owner of my own personal data? Can I come back and take that data back from you? Do you really tell me while taking my consent that this is why we are using and you can get it back? If you do not have those mechanisms and the culture of the privacy in the organization, then I don't think I am the one who will go to the board. No, nobody else will. So I think that culture has to be propagated coming from data principle. Also, there's a little awareness needed from organization as well. And of course, there's within organization, intra-organization cultures, like glad we're celebrating a privacy month this month. As a lot of organizations have seen a heightened sense of training and awareness, as they have said. Government has ensured that from parliament to panchayat, everybody understands DPDP. So a lot of initiatives from MeetY also that we are hearing is happening. And of course, we have industry experts who always try to give whatever parts we can give. So yeah, I think that was, I think there's definitely much more than meets the eye, but that's how would I summarize the impact of culture on DPDP.
Thank you so much. And of course, cultural problems exist not just in India but around the world. The right to be forgotten is a complex law. Right now, as a lawyer and a law firm, we are observing about 10 to 15 different cases in high courts around India on the right to be forgotten. And the right to be forgotten is not an easy thing. Going back, nearly 100 years ago or slightly less, Franz Kafka, dying at his deathbed, calls his best friend Max Brody. And who do you trust more than your best friend? He says, Max, go back to my room, and under my bed there's a box, there's a trunk of all my writings. As a friend, I want you to just pull out each bit and burn it. But Max goes back, having duly and good faith promised his best friend. Max goes back and reads some of the stuff, and he says, I can't allow this to just vanish forever. So he actually goes and publishes Kafka's works, majority of his, including his famous Metamorphosis, after his death. So it is a complex thing. I want to be forgotten, or I want to be remembered in a particular way. The next big thing for us as compliance, having observed European law, is the Data Protection Board. We've seen different cultures within Europe itself, and Europe is, I dare say, a bit more homogeneous than we are as a nation. So different cultures, different reactions by privacy commissioners. So yeah, sure.
Very interesting thing. I may be wrong and experts are sitting here, but what I read why GDPR came, because you touched that point, and the celebrities in most of Europe and the Bollywood, they were very pissed off with this paparazzi, and they are taking pics, and I don't know, this situation changed, and they were debate, and especially which happened with Diana and all, and so they were really looking for something that they cannot take pics of. They are on vacation and they are taking pics, and without any consent they were publishing. So one lobby in Europe, and they were after their government, and especially when EU happened, that there should be some restriction. It cannot be happen like that. For example, if you have been traveling to Europe, and I'm just giving you advice to all of you, especially some part of Europe, and you are taking your pics, and if you think that you have captured somebody in the background and you are putting your pic on the social media, you must blur that. They can sue you. Because I'm not saying that GDPR is really a sword to but yeah, they have impact. It's not like that GDPR doesn't have any impact, but I'm expecting in the same way DPDP also, because currently anybody just start recording and
But the point that you made is very interesting, because it has done a great amount of there's a butterfly effect that we call let's say it's a fluttering of a butterfly wings and will create tsunami somewhere. If that celebrity, who now definitely are paying millions of dollars to get those pictures, have created this, see how it is impacted. In one of the discussions, somebody raised that privacy is a jewelry that only rich people wear. And that is in the context, because we're talking about non-digital sector and rural sector of India. There's a concept here, privacy is only for rich. You talk about the Khan's children, right? Their pictures are a matter of the media. And nobody captures my son. He's like playing the playground every day, right? So they say, what is privacy to you might not be privacy for me. And in order to bust, I'm glad there's a regulation that maybe has originated from the top class or the celebrities, but now is going to impact everyone, because now I have a simple ex-employee of my organization sending an email on I would like you to delete my data or give me an access of my data. So see the butterfly effect it has created for GDPR.
See, Indian law doesn't use the word right to forget. It only uses the word right to erase.
Okay.
And we need to actually make a distinction. Okay. And right to erase also is restricted in terms of the need to retain data from other legal statutes, including ITA 2000. ITA 2000 requires a minimum 180 days retention for most of the account related information and 5 years for KYC related this thing. There are other laws like labor laws and other things which have got a data retention requirements. And Indian law provides enough leverage for such laws. So therefore we tell companies that when you get a request for erasure, please look at it as a request for archival, of secured archival. Don't rush into deleting the data. The DPO particularly should not take the decision. It has to be a management decision. There has to be a committee which looks at that. So that is important. This is one of the reasons why I say that companies which are strong on GDPR or other organizations will find it difficult to adapt to Indian law, because our mindset is GDPR. Okay, I have to actually unlearn that and learn DPDPA. Otherwise, entire your framework, which in some cases may be led by somebody sitting outside India, he says, this is our MNC framework. You are supposed to follow that. Do we have the courage to tell them that please forget that? I want to have a separate framework for India because Indian law is different. Don't impose GDPR framework to us. So that is one of the challenges which many of the companies have in terms of culture also. It is a question of culture that many times the Indian person is a junior person. There is a senior CISO or somebody sitting in foreign, and he dictates. He's, I don't know, whatever you call it as groups, DPO or somebody like that. Whereas here, there is no DPO, only a CISO is there. So the group DPO says that you are only a CISO, please, we have not yet had any DPO, so please listen to me, my framework, okay. So that is where the Indian professionals of the category of the CXO level need to look at DPDPA and say that this is a different law, okay. GDPR law is applicable for EU data, DPDPA law is applicable for Indian data, and my IT team has to be capable of segregating it. I will apply right to forget, right to portability to the GDPR law. I will not have similar rights here. I will have right to nomination here, right to grievance redressal here, which I may not have for GDPR. I may not be able to give a right to nomination to a GDPR customer. So the two are entirely different. And in terms of technology, you need to actually distinguish it. Presently, none of the tools which are there in the market is good enough for this. So there has to be a need to reinvent tools. And there may be many tool manufacturers here. Please don't misunderstand me when I say that your tools are not applicable, because it is not DPDPA compliant. It may be GDPR compliant. Okay, I respect that. But DPDPA compliant is not there. You have to create a separate instance and then see how you will be able to make it compliant. This is a challenge which what he said is a cultural challenge. As far as the public is concerned, all of us are responsible to bring in the awareness. MIT is perhaps more, as a government entity is interested, educational institutions should do it. People like us, we are, say, NGOs, okay. We are proposing to the government that we will do a lot of these activities, outreach activities through educational institutions. We have actually promoted an idea called Privacy Mitra. We want to have Privacy Mitras everywhere. But how much a private sector NGO can do? We have got the limitations of conducting one seminar here, another seminar there. Government has to come forward. It has to get into corporate social responsibility projects. Then, even then, implementation has to be with, say, the volunteers. I may not be able to go to 100 places and talk in local language. So this language, how to explain privacy in a local language?
Each one of you should actually think that whatever is your mother tongue, try to explain privacy to them. It is easy to discuss here, right of choice, autonomy. Now, how do you put those concepts into that villager? Now, one more second I will take. See, this, our law, DPDPA, had an outstanding provision called consent manager. Unfortunately, the ministry itself has downplayed this. I was expecting that tomorrow we will have a consent manager for a tribal village. I will specialize in that. I know the tribal language. I know how to explain privacy to them. I will become a privacy consent manager for that village. Specialized consent managers for minors, specialized consent managers for other things was feasible in the law. Even today it is feasible in the law, but in the rules, they have forgotten what the law says. They have downplayed it and have the, I'm talking of the whatever draft rules they have published. It actually underplays this consent manager requirement and makes it just what I have called as a glorified log keeper. Okay, that I can, my software can do that, or we are already doing it as CISOs. We are maintaining a log of all the records, and we don't need a consent manager with 2 crore net worth for that particular purpose. Okay.
The minister has not excluded it from this.
Pardon?
On Tuesday.
I think let it be open.
On Tuesday, this was discussed with the minister, Mr. National, and he categorically stated that we are not downplaying it. It's that the government is not ready to define the role and functions and responsibilities of consent manager. As a result, they have left it open. But you are right in this case. The role of consent manager is going to be crucial, especially in villages and all. So they have left it to the industry to come out with the options. They have not downplayed it, because if the government says create a consent manager, then it becomes their duty. That's why they are downplayed, so-called downplayed.
No. The moment they say that the consent manager, wait. The moment they say consent manager does not have visibility to the data, he is only a log keeper, right? There is no other activity of the consent manager. I may not be able to go deep into it in this particular session, but just mark my word that if you don't give visibility of the data to the consent manager, respect him as a data fiduciary, maybe a significant data fiduciary by registration, you are not going to enable him take up the responsibilities of what I said, acting as a trusted say consent manager for a team of say data principals, overcoming the language barriers and other things. If you want to do that, you need to give the visibility. You cannot convert an account aggregator into a consent manager in DPDPA. That is totally different. Now, ministry is not able to come out of their role fix on this account aggregator. So they said that account aggregator, we called them consent manager in another document, so they are only fixed on that. This is a big lacuna. If they do that, consent fatigue as well as this language barrier, everything can be sorted out by finding an appropriate consent manager. And as far as the companies are concerned, they should not confuse consent manager with my own HR person who will be doing that. That's a different employee relationship. This is a different relationship. Sorry for taking more time. Yeah.
No, not at all, not at all. That was interesting. Now I can't, I know we are running a little behind schedule, but I can't let this esteemed panel go without another round of a question each perhaps, and then we'll call it an end. My question for Naviji, taking off from one of your previous comments, how do you see the role of artificial intelligence and other emerging technologies in managing legal compliance, as well as perhaps, as they already have, adding to the merry mix of problems?
See, if I am a data fiduciary, if I am using an AI algorithm, for me, that is my joint data fiduciary. Whoever is supplying that or whoever is the owner of that, I will treat him as a joint data fiduciary because I don't know what that algorithm is doing. I am just accepting your marketing pitch and then I am taking them. So AI is one of the biggest risks which companies are doing because it's a fancy word. We are accepting anything which is called AI. How the AI has learned anything, we do not know. First of all, the learning process we have to check up. Secondly, there are many people, including payment gateways and others, who have, without telling me, used my data and created products and say, AI-enabled product, I can give you insights into your customer. See, my customer is my customer. How did you get insight into my this thing? I gave you permission to do some kind of payment gateway work. That was meant only for passing that particular payment, not for you to aggregate that and also aggregate with other competitors and finally come up with an insight saying that this customer is good to market some other product. Even if that is valuable, it is not permitted. So AI is a risk which we need to have. If you are developing AI, it is a different process. I am talking of the user of the AI. For me, that is like a data fiduciary. I will ask that supplier to give me an undertaking that he is responsible for the DPDPI compliance as a owner of the algorithm. I am only using it, I am only giving the purpose. I am not giving the means of processing. Means of processing is your responsibility. I think that is how I look at AI. AI deployers, AI developers, they have to ensure that their product is DPDPI compliant before they sell to any other data fiduciary, for which they have to look at the process of how the data is processed there and also do a testing and then give an assurance certificate to the deployer that I am taking care of the data. This is used in CFR FDA kind of compliance where the developer of the software is expected to give an assurance on the testing and other things to say that the data being processed by my software is in accordance with, in that case, maybe HIPAA or something like that. Same process has to come here. So that is for the developer. So AI developers have a compliance requirement separately, and the users, I am taking the easy path out by saying the AI person, you are also a data fiduciary, be responsible. Okay. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Even the role of the AI agent, interesting. Kapilji, my question for you. How do we look at cyber security and the development of infrastructure, especially planning for it? What would be your tips for organizations planning on compliance, on building infrastructure?
Right. So today we are talking about the companies, means the non-digital sector kind of thing. I don't think it is working. So as we believe that some of them have some kind of digital information, like in healthcare sector, they might be having some, already taking some information in digital form, but we are thinking that, okay, 50% or 70% of their data is yet to get digitalized, right? So whatever infrastructure, here this is a hurdle and the complexion also, because they need more technical people to understand it. So other than that, they should have to regard that they can go onto the cloud platform, the industry available technologies which are already security enables, privacy enabled products are available. So because this is an opportunity for them, they are coming up new into the digitalizing thing. So at this moment only, they can choose the right product, right? And means in-house product, it's up to them, but that is going to be difficult for the organizations who are not already into the technical market. So better to go for the cloud kind of platforms that is easy and even bit less costly to them, right? The SaaS kind of platforms can be there. So, and because this is a continuous process and the learning is getting started, especially for India, where like we all are discussing that means data is everywhere, and like Panwala is taking our information. So here, things GDPR has made some kind of awareness already. So today company knows. Till then they were sitting that okay, it is not coming to us because India don't have the law. But in back of mind, GDPR has given them hint that something is going to come for you also for the privacy. So it is not that they are not aware. Now the rule is there, right? So those companies are also started looking into it. Journey start, they can start from the small things like the privacy policies, right? They have right kind of policies, and the templates and things, the consultant even is still available for them. In 2018 when GDPR came, nobody knows about it. Today, this is a 6 years journey. There are privacy professionals, consulting companies, Navisas kind of thing, people are available in the market to whom they can leverage, right? So the tools are also developed in these years and is still developing. There will be DPDPA compliant also, and some are already saying that yes, we are. So things are available, utilize them wisely. We can think about the small things, like small but the larger impact, like data minimization. For that, the awareness and the culture developed within the organization, within self, no more tools are required. If I am forwarding one Excel sheet which have 1,000 people of data, right, and it is required only 2 columns for the another person to process. So if I think before sending it, before I am replying all, these are very small things. One mail which have 20 people in 2 and CC, right? Having a sheet, Navisa told me, okay, give it to Rajiv ji. And what I did, I just reply all, attach the same mail, where just only 2 columns required to go to one person. Here I am sending 10 columns to 20 people. So very small things, but that are going to make the impact. So education within the organization, every employee, that is going to actually make either we are GDPR compliant, we are DPDPA compliant, nothing makes sense, right? Even security, we say that the man is the means chain, what did I say, that weakest link in the chain. So say we have to strengthen that. So how good we are going to make the aware, the last person there. Data minimization is the key. The less we data have, right, less we are responsible and more we are compliant, because we don't have that kind of data. The data which I am not required, data deletion. If everybody, if I am a person in suppose job applicant department, I am taking it. If company says that your all CVs should be on the SaaS platform only, I will make sure that I will not download that CV into my desktop. Finished. Because then a technical, just only some setting in that particular tool that can delete all that data within the specified time as per the compliance. Like in Bulgaria, if you are a job applicant and you go to my website, you fill all the details and apply for a job. If the company is not selecting that person, automatically his or her data has to be deleted after 6 months. If the company wants to keep that data for more than 6 months, up to maximum 3 years, they should have to take the explicit consent, right? Either they have to send a mail back to them, take the consent that, okay, if you want to keep the data for more time, or their first page where first time they have collected the data, they have explicitly say, take some consent. Otherwise, so now here, the system will automatically delete the data after 6 months or after 3 years. No responsibility on hand. Nobody is thinking, you are compliant. But if you have downloaded that data in your desktop, so it is the person more aware we are compliant. Rest technology will take care of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. For Ravinder ji, in your experience across industry for more than 2 decades, how, if you were to advise a small business with a limited budget to ensure compliance, how would you go about it, and what would be your advice for them?
So I think looking at time, I will also quickly summarize because I have to go, to each office. So already 1 o'clock. So one easy answer can be a good consultants. I think we have many. I think another I think there is I always say there is a difference between a standard and a law. Law doesn't leave us with any choices. For example, it's my take that my information security management system can be good. Even I don't want to go for ISO 27001. There may be customers are asking for that, but it doesn't give me that, okay, I know my security policies, I can do the documentation, I can put the controls, and I can still make a good ISMS structure. ISMS, all this ISO and all this standard gives you a roadmap and you can achieve that, but still you can not. GDPR, PDPA, CCPA, now, our India DPDP, they have a law. I don't think so I have much choice. If I have to comply, I have to comply. If I have to put the technical control, if I have to take the consent, if I have to, do whatever law says, I have to do that. So I don't see much leverage. Only thing, if I have a limited budget, and I think firstly pick the laws, I think only thing, because, we know the penalties. I think in DPDP is 250 CR. Right, I think, which is, you look at the organization, only revenue generating is 50 CR and they have to go for the penalty of 250 CR. I think that's huge. So I think law will always supersede the other things which is, required to achieve any standards and all that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. My last question to Priyank ji on public-private partnerships. How can the government work with or what would your advice be, since the notes for this session are going out? What would your advice be for government and private sector partnerships? How do we accomplish that?
Yeah, I think we're looking at a 150 crore population in India, and I say neither government alone cannot do it, private alone cannot do it. Even I was speaking to meaty people, there is definitely a crunch in terms of the manpower they have. Certain initiatives can actually fuel this entire culture. Like, I really like the privacy mitra concept that Navisa just mentioned. There are skill sets available in the private industry. There are skill sets available in the public. If they both come together, I think they will be bringing a lot of value and a purpose to this entire thing. As I said, we discussed a lot of deliberation happened here, and I really like a couple of points in terms of the standards and some of the approach. We are looking at a very large population who has been untouched by privacy. They have never understood what privacy means to them. Now there is a slowly upheaval coming in where people are trying to understand, okay, my personal data is mine, right? There was a time when in the non-rural sector, you used to give 1 kg sugar and you get a vote. Now if you go to the same sector, they say, I will only vote if you do development in my state. So similarly, there will be a time when the same sector would say, I will only give you my personal data when you can assure the safeguard or when you are privacy compliant. That awareness is now going there. I think government and the private sector can come together, bring that kind of a change. And this is a long journey. People, organization or country cannot be compliant with a privacy regulation overnight or over a period. People are still doing GDPR compliance. Talk about it, 2018 when it was enacted. We see a long road. And I think in order to travel that long road, there's a lot of collaboration, participation, and and communication required between various sectors to come together and then aim towards a country, maybe after 5 years, will be much more digitally transformed, digitally mature, digitally secure, and digitally private. And that should be, I think, it should be a common goal.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.